Hello students, today we shall begin the first poem of your second language English, that is Upagupta by Rabindranath Tagore. We shall now see about the poet of this poem, that is Rabindranath Tagore. Rabindranath Tagore, the greatest of India's modern poets, was born in an affluent Bengali family in 1861. So Rabindranath Tagore is considered to be one of India's greatest poets. He was born in a very rich Bengali family in 1861. Besides being a poet, he was a novelist, essayist and dramatist. So Rabindranath Tagore not only wrote poems, but he also wrote novels, essays and dramas also. Tagore was awarded the Nobel Prize in 1913 for his book Gitanjali. His collection of poems by the name of Gitanjali was awarded the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1913. He was the founder of the internationally famous institution Vishwa Bharati at Shantiniketan. He set up or he founded the famous institution known as Vishwa Bharati at Shantiniketan in West Bengal. His poetry is profoundly and unmistakably Indian. Most of his poems, they have the theme of Indianness in it. Most of them deal with different aspects of our culture and our tradition. He restates the wisdom of India in verse by mingling love, friendship and music. So in most of his poems, you find themes of love, friendship and music. He has highlighted the concepts of Indian tradition and Indian culture through his literary works. Before learning about the poem, let's see about who was Upagupta. Upagupta was a disciple of Lord Buddha. He is supposed to be the teacher of the most famous Mauryan king, Emperor Ashoka. So, Upagupta was a disciple or a follower of Lord Buddha. He was a Buddhist monk. He is also supposed to be the teacher of the famous Mauryan king Ashoka. We shall now have a pre-reading task. Look at the picture given here. What comes to your mind when you see this picture? This picture is that of Lord Buddha, Gautam Buddha, and the most notorious thief or dacoit, Anguli Mala. I think children, most of you might have known the story of Gautam Buddha and Anguli Mala. And for those who don't know the story, I'll just once tell the story in brief. Long ago when Gautam Buddha was there was a very famous dacoit known as Anguli Mala. He had killed 999 people and cut their fingers and made a garland out of those fingers, and he used to wear it. He was a terror. People were scared of him. He would just butcher or kill people and cut their fingers since he wanted to have a garland. 999 people he had killed, and he was looking for the 1000th person to be killed. And it so happened that one day Gautam Buddha was passing by. Angulimala lived on top of a hill. He saw Gautam Buddha and he said to himself that, "Here is my 1000th finger. I can have his finger as a pendant." So he came down the hill laughing loud and making noises. "I am Angulimala coming." But Buddha was unshaken. Everyone else, when they would see Angulimala, they would just run away. But Gautam Buddha stood silently there. He did not move, neither was Gautam Buddha afraid. He asked Gautam Buddha, "Are you not afraid? You know that I am Angulimala. People are afraid just by hearing my name." But Gautam Buddha did not move at all. He just stood there, smiling, with so much compassion and grace looking at him. Angulimala came in front of Buddha and looked at him, and he was stunned. He didn't know what was happening to him. Angulimala fell at the feet of Buddha. Buddha told him that he could cut his finger, but Angulimala did not do that. He felt sorry The amount of light and love that was there around Gautam Buddha just shook Angulimala. He fell at the feet of Buddha and he became a Buddhist bhikshuk or a Buddhist disciple. And Gautam Buddha changed Angulimala from being a dacoit to be a disciple. He taught him qualities of simplicity and humbleness. So when you look at this picture, we can see Lord Buddha and Angulimala coming face to face. The divine light of Buddha is seen. Angulimala feels very blessed and happy because Buddha had brought a change or a transformation in his life. Write briefly your thoughts and feelings in this line. Looking at the picture, what do you feel? We feel like one should not be cruel. One should be merciful. Love should be our motto. Loving mankind is very important. We should always do good and think of helping others. Only then we can get real salvation. I shall once read the poem before explaining it. Upagupta, the disciple of Buddha, lay asleep in the dust by the city wall of Mathura. Lamps were all out, doors were all shut, and stars were all hidden by the murky sky of August. Whose feet were those tinkling with anklets, touching his breast of a sudden? He woke up startled, and a light from a woman's lamp fell on his forgiving eyes. It was a dancing girl, starred with jewels, wearing a pale blue mantle, drunk with the wine of a youth. She lowered her lamp and saw a young face, austerely beautiful. "Forgive me, young ascetic," said the woman. "Graciously come to my house. The dusty earth is not fit bed for you." The young ascetic answered, "Woman, go on your way. When the time is ripe, I will come to you." Suddenly, the black night showed its teeth in a flash of lightning. The storm growled from the corner of the sky, and the woman trembled in fear of some unknown danger. A year had not yet passed. It was evening of a day in April in spring season. The branches of the wayside trees were full of blossom. Gay notes of a flute came floating in the warm spring air from afar. Upagupta passed through the city gates and stood at the base of the rampart. Was there a woman lying at his feet in the shadow of a mango grove? Struck with a black pestilence, her body spotted with sores of smallpox, she was hurriedly driven away from town to avoid her poisonous contagion. The ascetic sat by her side, took her head on his knees, and moistened her lips with water and smeared her body with sandal balm. "Who are you, merciful one?" said the woman. "The time at last has come to visit you, and I am here," replied the young ascetic. We shall now see about the theme of the poem. Upagupta is a fine poem written by Rabindranath Tagore. The poem has a beautiful theme. This poem gives us a very beautiful message. It shows that a person is known by the action he does. We people are always remembered for our deeds or for our actions even after we leave this world and go. The greatness of his characters is reflected through his deeds. One must practice the principle of simple living and high thinking in life. Physical beauty is short-lived, so one should not feel proud of it. Only good actions done by a person is remembered by people. They live even after his death. The important message that Rabindranath Tagore wants to give to through this poem is that external beauty or physical beauty is short-lived. One need not be proud of it. During our youth, we may look very beautiful. We may look very attractive. But as time goes back and we people become aged, our beauty begins to fade. And we won't be so much appealing to people. But those who believe in spiritual beauty or in spirituality They always tend to live happily across their life. Physical beauty is short-lived, whereas spiritual beauty is long-lived. Only our good actions will be remembered by people forever, rather than our physical or external beauty. We shall now see a small introduction to the poem. This poem is about the story of a Buddhist monk Upagupta, a disciple of Lord Buddha, and the dancing girl of Mathura, Vasavadatta. So this poem, what we are going to learn today, is the story about two people. One is Upagupta, who was, as I have told, a disciple of Lord Buddha. And the second character that you come across in the poem is a dancing girl by the name of Vasavadatta. Her name has not been mentioned in this poem by Rabindranath Tagore, but the girl whom we come across in this poem is supposed to be Vasavadatta, who was one of the most famous dancers of Mathura. Mathura is a city in Uttar Pradesh. She was a famous and beautiful dancer. She was proud of her beauty, youth and her wealth. Vasavadatta was a very beautiful dancer. Since she was very beautiful, she was very proud of her beauty, her youth and her wealth. Whereas Upagupta was an ascetic. He was a sannyasi. And he was an epitome. He was a symbol of kindness, wisdom and selflessness. So here we come across two categories of people. One is Vasavadatta, who was proud of her beauty, her youth and her wealth. And the next was Upagupta, who was an ascetic or a sannyasi. And he was a symbol of kindness, wisdom and selflessness. ಈ ಪದ್ಯದ ಒಂದು ಸಣ್ಣ ಪರಿಚಯ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. ಪ್ರಸ್ತುತ ಪದ್ಯವು ಬುದ್ಧನ ಅನುಯಾಯಿಯಾದ ಉಪಗುಪ್ತ ಎಂಬ ಬೌದ್ಧ ಸನ್ಯಾಸಿ ಮತ್ತು ಮಥುರಾ ಪಟ್ಟಣದ ವಾಸವದತ್ತ ಎಂಬ ನರ್ತಕಿಯನ್ನು ಕುರಿತದ್ದಾಗಿದೆ. ವಾಸವದತ್ತಳು ಪ್ರಸಿದ್ಧ ನರ್ತಕಿ ಮತ್ತು ಸೌಂದರ್ಯದಿಂದ ಕೂಡಿದ ತರುಣಿಯಾಗಿದ್ದಳು. ಅವಳು ತನ್ನ ಸೌಂದರ್ಯ ಮತ್ತು ಯೌವನದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಗರ್ವ ಪಟ್ಟುಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಳು. ಉಪಗುಪ್ತ ಒಬ್ಬ ಬೌದ್ಧ ಸನ್ಯಾಸಿ. ದಯಾಳುತನ, ಜ್ಞಾನ ಮತ್ತು ನಿಸ್ವಾರ್ಥ ಮನೋಭಾವನೆಗಳಿಂದ ಕೂಡಿದವನಾಗಿದ್ದನು. ಈಗ ಪದ್ಯವನ್ನು ನೋಡೋಣ. Upagupta, the disciple of Buddha, lay asleep in the dust by the city wall of Mathura. Lamps were all out, doors were all shut, and stars were all hidden by the murky sky of August. So in the first four lines, we can see that Upagupta, who was a disciple or a follower, in Kannada disciple we call it as Shishya. He was a follower of Lord Buddha. So he was sleeping in the dust by the city wall of Mathura. Buddhist monk, usually they give up all the worldly pleasures. They do not wish for material things in life. So because of which he was lying down on the dust, he was sleeping on the roadside. Lamps were all out, doors were all shut, and stars were all hidden by the murky sky of August. So usually August season is rainy season. So the sky was filled with clouds. It was dark and gloomy. Murky sky means dark and gloomy sky. And the lamps were all out. So people had closed all their doors. They were inside and all the lamps were off. Means they had turned off the lights in their homes and had closed the doors because it was raining outside. Whose feet were those tinkling with anklets, touching his breast of a sudden? Then all of a sudden, Upagupta will hear the tinkling sound of anklets. Tinkling means a metallic sound. In Kannada, anklet means gejje. Gejje sound, you call it as tinkling sound of anklet. And all of a sudden, Upagupta hears a tinkling sound of an anklet. And he will feel that a leg has come and touched over his chest. He woke up startled. Startled means all of a sudden he was surprised. And then a light from a woman's lamp fell on his forgiving eyes. He was sleeping on the road. All of a sudden, he will hear the tinkling sound of anklets and he will feel the leg of a woman touching him. So he will be startled or surprised and he will get up. And when he gets up, the light from a woman's lamp fell on his forgiving eyes. And when he gets up, all of a sudden, the woman who was carrying the lamp in her hand, the light from the lamp falls on his forgiving eyes. So, Upagupta, the disciple of Buddha, had slept on the dusty road by the city wall of Mathura. Everywhere it was calm and quiet. Lamps were all out. Doors were all shut. Everyone had slept. It was quiet everywhere. Above all, stars were hidden by the dark cloud in the sky. Vasavadatta, a dancing girl, was walking with a lamp in her hand. Without noticing down on the ground, she stumbled over the body of Upagupta, who was sleeping on the dusty ground. Suddenly he woke up and was extremely surprised. The light from the woman's lamp fell on his merciful eyes, and he saw a beautiful woman standing before him. The writer calls it as forgiving eyes because though he was sleeping and he was disturbed in his sleep, yet he was not angry. There was mercy in his eyes. Thus, this is how Upagupta meets Vasavadatta, the dancer, for the first time, and the nature around it is completely filled with darkness. The stars are hidden behind the cloudy skies. There is darkness everywhere. ಕತ್ತಲೆಯಿಂದ ಕೂಡಿದ ಒಂದು ರಾತ್ರಿ ಎಂದು ಬುದ್ಧನ ಅನ್ವಯಾದ ಉಪಗುಪ್ತನು ಮಥುರಾ ಪಟ್ಟಣದ ಕೋಟೆಯ ಗೋಡೆಗೆ ಹೊಂದಿಕೊಂಡು ಧೂಳಭರಿತ ರಸ್ತೆಯ ಮೇಲೆ ಮಲಗಿದ್ದನು. ಎಲ್ಲೆಡೆ ಸ್ತಬ್ಧ ವಾತಾವರಣವಾಗಿತ್ತು. ಸುತ್ತಲೂ ದೀಪಗಳು ಆರಿಸಲ್ಪಟ್ಟಿದ್ದವು. ಮನೆಗಳ ಬಾಗಿಲುಗಳು ಮುಚ್ಚಲ್ಪಟ್ಟಿದ್ದವು, ಏಕೆಂದರೆ ಅದು ಮಳೆಗಾಲವಾಗಿತ್ತು. ಮೇಲಾಗಿ ಕಪ್ಪು ಮೋಡಗಳ ಹಿಂದೆ ನಕ್ಷತ್ರಗಳು ಮರೆಯಾಗಿದ್ದವು. ನರ್ತಕಿ ವಾಸವದತ್ತ ಕೈಯಲ್ಲಿ ದೀಪವೊಂದನ್ನು ಹಿಡಿದುಕೊಂಡು ಬರುತ್ತಿದ್ದಳು. ಕತ್ತಲಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡದೆ ಧೂಳಿನಿಂದ ಆವರಿಸಿದ ರಸ್ತೆ ಮೇಲೆ ಮಲಗಿದ್ದ ಉಪಗುಪ್ತನನ್ನು ಎಡವಿದಳು. ಕೂಡಲೇ ಉಪಗುಪ್ತನು ಗಾಬರಿಯಿಂದ ಎಚ್ಚೆತ್ತನು. ನರ್ತಕಿಯ ದೀಪಗಳ ಬೆಳಕು ಅವನ ಮುಖದ ಮೇಲೆ ಬಿದ್ದಾಗ ತನ್ನ ಎದುರಿಗೆ ನಿಂತಿದ್ದ ಸೌಂದರ್ಯದಿಂದ ಕೂಡಿದ ತರುಣಿಯನ್ನು ಉಪಗುಪ್ತನು ಕಂಡನು. It was a dancing girl starred with jewels, wearing a pale blue mantle, drunk with the wine of her youth. So, when the light from the lamp falls on the face of the girl, Upagupta sees her face. It was a beautiful face, and it was none other than the beautiful dancer Vasavadatta, who was the most beautiful dancer of Mathura. It was dancing girl starred with jewels. She was shining like a star, wearing those jewels. Wearing a pale blue mantle, drunk with the wine of her youth. She was wearing a pale blue mantle. Pale blue means light blue color mantle. Mantle is a loose kind of cloth that was worn in earlier days. Drunk with the wine of her youth. Drunk with the wine of her youth means she was very proud of her youth and beauty. Since she was a very young and beautiful girl, Vasavadatta was very proud of her youth and beauty. She lowered her lamp and saw a young face, austerely beautiful. Then she lowered the lamp. She took the lamp a little down and then she could see the face of Upagupta. Upagupta's face was austerely beautiful. It had the beauty and simplicity of that sage. Forgive me, young ascetic, said the woman. Vasavadatta asked him forgiveness because she had disturbed his sleep. By mistake, without seeing, her leg had touched him and he had woken up from his sleep. So she will ask him, please forgive me. Graciously come to my house. The dusty earth is not fit bed to you. Seeing him sleep on the dusty roads, she'll feel very bad for him and she will ask him to please come to his house, since the dusty earth means the road was not a place for him to sleep. The young ascetic answered, Woman, go on your way. when the time is right, I will come to you. However, when she will invite him to come to her house, since he was sleeping on the road, Upagupta will tell her, I will come to you when time is right. Means when time comes, only then I will come to you. Till then you can continue on your way. Ascetic in Kannada you call it as tapasvi or sannyasi. So once we will just summarize these lines of what we have learned. The woman was shining with her jewels. She had put on a blue loose piece of clothing without sleeves. She was young and beautiful. She was proud of her youth and beauty. As she lowered her lamp, she saw a young man whose face was reflecting the charming simplicity and strict way of living, as he was a sannyasi. The young woman begged pardon for stumbling over his body without noticing him in the darkness. She requested him to come to her home to stay, saying that the dirty ground or road was not fit for him. Upagupta told her gently to go on her way back and told that he would meet her when time was right, or when the right time comes, he would come and meet her. ವಾಸವದತ್ತಳು ತಾನು ಧರಿಸಿದ ಆಭರಣಗಳೊಂದಿಗೆ ಕಂಗೊಳಿಸುತ್ತಿದ್ದಳು. ಅವಳು ನೀಲಿ ಬಣ್ಣದ ಬಟ್ಟೆಯನ್ನು ಧರಿಸಿದ್ದಳು. ತನ್ನ ಯೌವನ ಮತ್ತು ಸೌಂದರ್ಯಗಳಿಂದ ಗರ್ವ ತಾಳಿದವಳಂತಿದ್ದಳು. ತನ್ನ ಕೈಯಲ್ಲಿದ್ದ ದೀಪವನ್ನು ಕೆಳಗೆ ಹಿಡಿದು ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ಶಿಸ್ತು ಬದ್ಧತೆಯ ಬದುಕಿನಿಂದ ಕೂಡಿದ್ದ ಆ ಸನ್ಯಾಸಿ ಅಥವಾ ತೇಜಸ್ವಿಯ ಮುಖದ ಮೇಲಿನ ತೇಜಸ್ಸು ದೀಪದ ಬೆಳಕಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರತಿಬಿಂಬಿಸುತ್ತಿತ್ತು. ಮೌನದಿಂದಿದ್ದ ಆ ಯುವತಿ ಕತ್ತಲಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಅವನನ್ನು ಎಡವಿದ್ದ ಪ್ರಮಾದಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಅವನಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ಷಮೆ ಯಾಚಿಸಿದಳು. ತಮ್ಮಂತಹ ಮಹಾನುಭಾವರಿಗೆ ಹೊಲಸು ಧೂಳಿನಿಂದ ಕೂಡಿದ ರಸ್ತೆಯು ಮಲಗಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಯೋಗ್ಯ ಸ್ಥಳವಲ್ಲವೆಂದು ತಿಳಿದು ಆ ಸನ್ಯಾಸಿಗೆ ತನ್ನ ಮನೆಗೆ ಬರಲು ಬೇಡಿಕೊಂಡಳು. ಆಗ ಉಪಗುಪ್ತನು ಅವಳಿಗೆ ತನ್ನ ಮನೆ ದಾರಿ ಹಿಡಿದುಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಲು ಹೇಳಿದನು. ಸೂಕ್ತ ಸಮಯ ಬಂದಾಗ ಭೇಟಿಯಾಗುತ್ತೇನೆ ಎಂದನು. Suddenly the black night showed its teeth in a flash of lightning. Black night means it was complete dark over there. All of a sudden there was a flash of lightning. Lightning in Kannada you call it as minchu. So it looked as if the night was showing its teeth with the flash of lightning. The storm growled from the corner of the sky, and the woman trembled in fear of some unknown danger. All of a sudden there was a storm. Storm in Kannada you call it as birugadi. Growled means make a long deep sound or a series of sound. You know, when the storm comes, the sound of that storm is known as the storm growled from the corner of the sky, and the woman trembled in fear of some unknown danger. Suddenly the black night sky showed its teeth in a flash of lightning. A terrible storm arose from the corner of the sky and made a long deep sound. The woman trembled in fear of some unknown danger and hurried towards her home. When all of a sudden the atmosphere completely changed with lightning and storm, the woman got afraid. She felt that it was a sign that some unwanted or unpleasant thing was going to happen with her. She felt that fear and she hurried to her home. ಅಷ್ಟರಲ್ಲಿ ಘೋರವಾದ ಕಗ್ಗತ್ತಲೆಯ ರಾತ್ರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮಿಂಚೊಂದು ಕಾಣಿಸಿತು. ಆಕಾಶದ ಅಂಚಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಭಯಂಕರವಾದ ಬಿರುಗಾಳಿಯೊಂದು ಬೀಸುತ್ತಾ ಗರ್ಜಿಸತೊಡಗಿತು. ಯಾವುದೋ ಅರಿಯದ ಆಪತ್ತು ತನಗೆ ಕಾಯ್ದಿದೆ ಎಂಬ ಅಂಚಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಡುಗುತ್ತಾ ವಾಸವದತ್ತಳು ಮನೆಯ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಧಾವಿಸಿದಳು. So far we have discussed about the first part of the poem. We will continue with the remaining part of the poem in your next session. Till then, have a nice day.